Good evening and welcome to our 25th commencement ceremony for Problem Solving Court. We're very pleased to have you all here this evening, and I don't know how many new people we have here, how many people haven't been, but for those of you, this is your first time. Problem Solving Courts are the most studied and tested evidence-based criminal justice system in our country's history. They started in 1989 in Miami, when a judge down there got sick and tired of sending people to prison where they got no help. They got worse. They came out and committed crimes, and the cycle just continued. So he said there has just got to be a way we can combine the criminal justice system, which means accountability, with the therapeutic community, which means treatment. All right. And so that's how drug courts started. Our program began in 2012, and today we are celebrating our 99th graduate. We are celebrating these three people who have put the work in to battle their addictions. Each ceremony looks a little different, but one thing remains the same. We always open with a message of hope because we recognize some people change. A commencement signifies both an ending and a new beginning. And for Michael, Ryan, and Jax, this evening signifies closing the door on one chapter of their lives and marks the beginning of what one of our former participants called the third life. The one before drugs, during drugs, and the blessed one after. Tonight you're going to hear a little bit about each of our graduates. While each of them came into the program on their own individual journey, they have all spent countless months with therapists, case managers, mentors, sponsors, me, other members of our team, to be able to sit here this evening. They have learned what a lifestyle without drugs looks like. And they've shown us, but much more importantly, they've shown themselves that they can do this, and they're capable of living a healthy life, and they deserve what they have worked for. Your presence here tonight lets them know that they are part of a larger community. And I'm going off script here because I am pretty choked up. We have never had this many alumni come. I am overwhelmed. Thank you. It's a testament to the work that you all have done and you continue to do even after you have graduated. You are an inspiration to every single one of us. So, many of you are family and friends, and some of you, and we'll talk about that in a minute, are hopefully going to be working on the alumni groups. We always have a few believers who come every single time they can, and we do have a few people here for the first time just to see what it's all about. One thing I know is that whatever brings you here, there's a common belief that we are bound together as a community, and that when one person struggles and fails, it impacts others as well. And when one person rises, we all rise. Our graduates this evening came to us having lost nearly everything you can lose. Jobs, confidence, their freedom, trust of others they love, their health, and most of all, their hope. It has only been through tireless and intensive work that they've been able to rebuild their lives. And to be clear, this is a relentless disease. It is a disease. If it doesn't have you in its grip, it is standing patiently on the sidelines, just waiting for any sign of weakness. And as our graduates look around this evening, I know you can see the support that you have in this community, not just tonight, when things are good, but in the future when things get tougher, and they will get tougher. But we're here tonight because we are proud of you and we want to celebrate your accomplishments. It's a tremendous privilege and an opportunity to work with the people in this program and see the changes that they make. The participants do the day-to-day work. They work at learning, at practicing honesty, accountability, and practicing using tools that they're taught in this program. But they could not change if they did not have the dedicated team of professionals who give endless time and care to transform their lives. This group of people behind me educates and encourages and holds them accountable to themselves and to others. And I would like to recognize the members of the team who are here. We are suffering casualties from COVID, vacation, training, and at least one other thing. But I will at least introduce the folks that we've got here. Barb Stooksbury could not be here, she's our prosecutor. Bill Nelson and David Payne are our defense attorneys. Deb Leroy does our assessments. Holly Grishka is with Community Corrections and helps with drug testing. Katie J. is with Swanson Center. Sergeant Adam Hannon is with the Sheriff's Department. Ashley Ortega and is with, she's our intensive case manager. Eric LaRue, also a case manager, is not here. Carissa Strader is our program coordinator and case manager. She wears two hats. Angie Van Sickle is the bailiff. Roxanne Justice is our, oh, there you are, Roxanne. Roxanne Justice is our nurse, and Paula Dranger, also our therapist, one of our therapists, and Steve Irick, who is kind of also the executive producer of all of these events. If we have any former members of the team, and I think I saw at least one, could you please stand and be recognized for your service? Thank you. Which leads me to my next point. Jerry Stein and Amber Holliday are working hard on our next project, which is forming an alumni group. And as I look around this evening at so many graduates here, I know it's going to be successful. So I know they're looking to get hard at work on that, and I think it's going to be helpful not only for those who graduate, but for those who are in the final phase of this program to kind of continue them on the path. Could we have any elected officials that we have here also stand? Thank you, Judge Stahlbrink and Councilman Novak, for your unwavering support. In addition to the problem-solving court, also known as drug court, Judge Thorne operates the Veterans Treatment Court. Judge Stahlbrink has the Reentry Court. Magistrate Muncie and LaPorte oversees the Family Recovery Court and the Juvenile Mental Health Court. All of these courts operate on the assumption that treatment, accountability, and education are preferable to incarceration for individuals who are appropriate for these courts. So I want to recognize those other judges in their courts as well. This team that I introduced absolutely never ceases to amaze me in terms of their creativity and dedication to helping participants in this program. They don't consider this a job. In watching them, I know that they consider this a calling, and it shows. They are humble, and I can never give them enough credit. While it takes the cooperation of the prosecutor to bring cases to this court, it would not exist without our team. And like the starfish in the story on your program, each person up here believes in the importance of the individual. Saving one means more than saving that person. It means making sure that a mother and a father return to their family. It means that an employee is healthy enough to go back to work and support that family. It means a student is ready to learn. Our streets are safer. The cost of the taxpayer is decreased by not incarcerating individuals who need treatment. These people behind me do what a friend of mine told me was a valuable measure of a person. They don't live to make their dreams come true as much as they strive to make other people's dreams come true. Thank you so much.
Kids I grew up with, we would all party together. But what happened with me is I would have a physical and a different reaction. The end game was I was more and more involved because of what the chemicals did for me into that life, and they pretty much just went on to law school. The idea of me really trying to stop on my own continued to be a challenge for me. The day my daughter was born, there was nothing more inside me than wanting to stop her. I made a promise I would pass the lie detector test. I could have put my hand on the Bible. And it was literally hours later, when I was off to the races again. And that's when I first started really getting the realization deep within that I needed more help. And drug court really provided like a hope and a change of lifestyle. As it moves forward, we're given more freedom. We move from phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. Life was being lived again. And as my recovery expresses itself, it moved into being there for my wife, being there for my daughter, being there for others, helping others, paying it forward. Life is no longer I have to do these things, it's life as I get to do these things. I'm a better husband now, I'm a better father now, I'm a better employer now. And the life of the addiction world is very, very small. It becomes in the back of a car, it becomes a Starbucks bathroom. Life is now today so much bigger than it's ever been.
At each ceremony, we ask someone who's graduated from the court to say a few words about their journey beyond this program. Most people find it's especially helpful to hear from someone who's graduated and moved on with their lives. Someone who can speak to the struggles, but also the successes that they've encountered. Most people who graduate are, of course, excited, but also a bit apprehensive as they think about going to the next phase. That's when the real test comes. How will you take all that you've learned and practice while being accountable to a court, and can you continue to do it when you are no longer monitored by that court? This is where you go out and actually live your recovery. I think it's important to make note that while some graduates are never arrested again, our recidivism rate is 17%, which I think is pretty darn good. But it can and does happen. Don't judge this program if you hear that someone is arrested. This is a relapsing disease, which means that if you don't plan for your daily recovery, you are planning for your relapse. And it also means that anyone suffering from substance use disorder, whether they're in this program or not, can relapse if they let their guard down. Our case managers make it very clear that they remain available to work with any graduate who may find themselves struggling, and they do that almost every week. We have found it to be the case that if someone wants recovery, they will get up, they will dust off, they will reach out for support, they will reevaluate what happened, and they will get back on the path. I show you this picture to give you an idea of what recovery actually looks like. It is not perfection, and it is not pretty, but it is progress. And it looks different for every person. We don't, and we cannot guarantee that we will turn out perfect people. But we do not celebrate perfection because it doesn't exist. We celebrate our warriors who never give up. And I see an entire room full of them. welcome tonight. This evening, our speaker graduated 3.5 years ago, and she has built on everything that she learned. She's become a vocal and a positive voice in the recovered community. It's been the pleasure of Carissa and I to share the stage at least once with her, and I know you will appreciate what Lizzie has to say this evening.
Well, first I want to say congratulations to you three. I'm nervous, but it's a huge accomplishment. And I just live the program as if they're still in my life, you know. It's pretty simple. It was simple when they were in my life, as long as you follow the rules and, you know, apply the suggestions to your life. But it's one thing to, like, I guess, I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but then there's another aspect of, like, if anything done in the dark is going to come to light. So I've grown so much outside of the program. I still shock myself to this day. Just purchasing my own home in my name this year is huge, and even though it's been 3.5 years since I graduated, my son graduated high school this year, and I remember just sobbing in May. I was like, I don't know where all these tears are coming from. I was like, I've been like a big crybaby this whole year, and it's amazing. I literally still have, at 7 a.m., my alarm goes off and it asks me if I still have to test. There's things that, like, you can implement in your life. Because I know all of you have them, like alarms maybe in your phone, 5 p.m. Normally it's my dinner time, to get everything started for my kids, but it still asks me, did you test today? Like, there's things that I just didn't remove out of my life, whether it was staying in contact with Carissa, sharing my little moments of joy. There's no longer trying to find balance. No, I create it. I have, like, the power. Like, my life, my future is in my control. I didn't have no control of my life before. It was a mess. So I just wish you the best, and I hope that out of anybody in this room, you have a number of people that you can reach out to that can keep you accountable, and build a sober community, because you have to weed out the old ideas and the old ways and, continue to be successful. Like that video said, I get to go to work. I show myself, whether it's snowing, whatever the case may be, there's like times I always tell myself, I would have called off today and I would have not went to work because of this, or my kids, or, but you have to implement, that accountability in your life. We know how to, like, time manage from this program, so you have to kind of, like, utilize everything that they've said, even down to the littlest things, into your life from this point forward. I felt like it was kind of easy before because they were all, watching us, or, keeping us on our toes. But you'll be surprised if you really, really put the effort while you've been in the program, whether you've done, phases over or whatever the case may be that led you up to this point. It's a miracle. This is a blessing. Not many people get the opportunity to do drug court, but I mean, it was life-changing for me, and it shows every day when I make that decision, when I wake up in the morning and say, I'm not going to use today, I'm not going to even think. It's the power of the mind and knowing how you're feeling. You can give yourself a minute or 2 or 10 minutes, however long. The patience with yourself and loving yourself was the biggest thing I took away. from this program. Because if I love myself unconditionally, I can love others around me. I can treat myself the way I deserve to be treated, and don't settle for less. You don't have to. There's a whole world that even I haven't discovered yet, you know. So be patient with yourself and give yourself a pat on the back every step of the way. Celebrate the small and the big, because it's all huge. This is a whole new life for us, you know, for many of us in this room, because I was in drug court with some of them. So I really congratulate you, all three of you, on this huge success, and I wish you the absolute best. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. That's just what we needed to hear. Every one of us has been touched by a substance use disorder in some way. We all know someone, or love someone, or work with someone. Maybe we've even lost someone who struggles with addiction. Part of the cruelty of addiction is that it impacts not just the lives of those who are afflicted, it reaches well beyond, and it shatters the lives of those who love them and don't know how to help. Unless you have waited for that middle of the night phone call, or picked up the pieces of your loved one for the 100th time, the reality of addiction may be hard to grasp. Tonight it is my great honor to introduce our speaker, Mayor Angie Nelson Deutsch, who I think has some unique observations she wants to share with you.
So congratulations. Thank you for inviting me. My perspective is from the place of being a loved one whose father struggled, you know, throughout my lifetime. So my dad, he was one of my biggest fans, biggest advocates, one of my best friends. People thought we were a married couple. But a lot of things changed for us. So my junior year in high school at Elston, one evening, was the first time I ever seen my dad shoot up heroin, okay? And that moment kind of changed the trajectory for me and my family. So I'm the oldest of 7 kids. And at that point, he told me he was sick, and that he knew he needed help. And I, you know, first of all, stunned. I knew he was messing up, and I didn't pull any punches with him. Very straight up with him, cursed at him, fought with him. And he went to Walter's Clinic after that. That was the Ivy Tech now. And he went into the rehab, and he didn't stay but maybe 3 days. And during that time that he was there, we found out that he had spent and forged my mom's name on tax refund check, and that he had mine hidden at home. And he told me he knew he had reached rock bottom when he was going to spend his daughter's check that she earned, right? And one of the things that struck me was that when you stay in the same surroundings with the same exact people over and over again, it's hard not to relapse. People, places, and things. So it was a week later that my dad moved to Florida. We have a family member there, and he left Michigan City. Michigan City was a trigger for him. I never thought I would move back to Michigan City. I swear, I never thought. So that was March of 1988. And that summer, I had to go scope out Florida because it was nice and going into my senior year, but I wanted to see how he was doing. So me and my brother went down, my brother stayed, and I told my mom he's doing well, I think he's doing well. My parents have been together since they were 14, so they were codependent too. So she's an enabler in the whole situation. So on Thanksgiving the day after Thanksgiving, we got on a Greyhound bus, all 7 of us and my mom moved to Florida. And that changed all of our lives. My dad got a CDL, he went back to school, started driving trucks, he was driving for J.B. Hunt, we all started going to college. And then, lo and behold, about 5 or 6 years into it, he started getting loads through Michigan City, right? And Trigger, right? Same people. And that's when we started noticing some changes in my dad again. He ended up losing his job, having an accident, didn't want a drug test, and then it was a spiral after that. And then, he moved around a little bit. So I moved back to be a caregiver, and I was working in Chicago, and so my dad relapsed back in 2000, I want to say it was 2008, because he passed away in 2009. And I said, look, Dad, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I can't have you around my kids. These are the things I'm not going to do with you. And he would always say, well, babe, you're always straight up, and you're the only one to tell them the truth, and I would laugh because, I said, I can get you help, but only if you want help, And so he had to stay here at the men's overnight shelter every night. I refused to let him stay in my home. And I would pick him up, because I work from home, I would pick him up each morning from Salvation Army and drop him back off right here at Salvation Army. And I said, I'm not doing this with you. And he finally said, okay. Luckily, he didn't get arrested for anything. And I think, part of it is I was his whole village at the time. And I think the cruel reality of my mom finally stopped dealing with them, everybody except for me. But I said, I don't want no BS from you. And one time he came over, I had locked the refrigerator, the cabinets, everything. And he's like, what the hell is going on? I said, look, I've told you, I'm not playing with you. If you want to get help, you're not gonna come in here drinking liquor, you're not doing anything. And he always respected that, my space, and wanting to be around my kids. And some people have grown to know him over time, but he passed away in 2009. But before that time, he was in his own apartment, he was working part-time, he was doing all those things. He made everything right with all my siblings, my mom, and I just look at it as being honest with yourselves and figuring out who your community is. Because I'm telling you, it's a disease, number one. And the people that you surround yourselves who are battling this disease, it's kind of like, I call it the, when you get hyped up, whether it's sad, if somebody starts crying, you start crying, if somebody gets angry, you get angry. That disease kind of works in the same way. And, just from a place of seeing someone shoot up heroin as a kid, but then trying to protect all your siblings and your mom from that, it creates a burden and a weight on you that you grow up with, number one, but it makes you more empathetic to the cause. And programs like this, you don't have these programs everywhere. And now you have a community of people and friends, new family members that are here to encourage you. And I will just say this as mayor of Michigan City, from my official capacity, is that I'm committed to making sure that we support programs like this, but we also create some opportunities for people who come out of these programs. We just had our first round table, we got a few more to come, but it's important that you know you gotta change people, places, and things that will trigger you. And if you're triggered, that's okay. But you gotta know how to come out of it. And that's how it was with my dad. Like I said, I would curse him out, and he would laugh, till he would be mad, and but we would fight like that because I cared that deeply about his recovery and how he impacts my kids, his grandkids, and they love their papa. You know, he could do no wrong, even though behind closed doors I was ready to punch his lights out. But Papa was everything to them, and he was everything to me. He was my best friend, even through his struggles. There was not a day that I didn't deal with my dad, and I think that's important. I never gave up on his recovery, even if he had given up on it. So I want you to know, just from me, that hey, we are all rooting for you, and we want you all to be successful in your journey, wherever that leads you, that squiggly line. You don't even have to be in recovery. That line is my line, just like it's yours, right? And your family members go through that same squiggly line like you do, because we feel the same impact that you're going through. So I just want you to know, be blessed. I'm praying for you, and I'm just so proud that you are going through this program. And I'm so proud of everybody who supports this program. I think this is an awesome way for us to build our community as we continue to look for opportunities. And again, thank you all for sticking with it. But I love the fact that your alarm still goes off. I mean, wow. And congratulations to you. I mean, and all the people. I've grown to know Donnie and so many other people over the last year or so, and I just think it's important as leaders that we show you we deal with the same thing, the same struggles. This is not a you thing, it's a we thing, and I'm just so honored to be here to speak to you all.
Thank you.
There was a time when people in the justice system viewed addiction as a moral failing. They thought punishment alone would stop people from using drugs and committing crime. This began to change the moment treatment courts invited treatment professionals into the courtroom. For 30 years, treatment courts have been proving grounds for new ideas and innovations. You adopted the treatment court model to keep our roads safe, reunite families separated due to addiction, assist tribal communities, and ensure our veterans receive a true welcome home. Today, you have made it possible for justice reform to become an issue most Americans can agree on, and you continually answer the what-if questions others were unwilling to ask. What if we didn't give up on someone just because they have a criminal record? What if judges were able to spend more time with each person in front of them? What if we responded to relapse with additional services instead of revoked probation? What if prison was truly a last resort? What if police officers could help reverse overdoses? Treatment courts opened the door for sentencing reforms, harm reduction strategies, and restorative justice principles to speak in the United States. Treatment court professionals are and have always been problem solvers, but there remain many more problems to be solved. And now more than ever, the justice reform movement needs us to lead.
Before I introduce our graduates, I would like to share a few thoughts for myself and the team, for you. Michael, you joined the program in November of 2022. You had a lot on your plate when you began this journey of recovery. You were an amazing father to your daughter, but that's not by accident. From day one, even before becoming part of this program, you made your child a priority. That started with ensuring that all the necessary things were in place to keep her safe and in your care. As a single parent, you stepped up because you needed to. Doing all of that left very little time for you to get distracted with the wrong people, places, and things. Within the first 6 months of your time in the program, you got some life-altering news. The kind of news that can and has sent individuals hurtling headlong into a full-blown relapse. But you refuse to let that happen. Your resolve at every phase of your recovery has been nothing short of amazing. You had to learn the difference between vulnerability and weakness. You've always been someone who quietly gets things done. However, in order to maintain your recovery, you realized that you needed help. You had to learn to rely on and trust others, and that was a challenge. You listened to good advice, and you learned that it's okay to need and ask for help. We all at some point are vulnerable. It doesn't mean we're weak. Being vulnerable, in fact, helps us become stronger. You became so much stronger because you were willing to ask for help and accept that being human means reaching out sometimes and not letting pride or fear get in the way of making progress. That was a big deal for you because you were not necessarily the most open-minded person you've ever met. You learned slowly over time that what seemed to be insurmountable at first became solvable. Another concept you learned was that something all young parents struggle with: self-care. You spent all your energy on others because you felt you had to. You learned, however, that you could only care for others if you cared for yourself first and foremost. You learned what was a priority for you, and you realized it was a waste of time and energy to get upset about things you just could not control. Finally, you began to understand the role of gratitude. It's not a word so much as it's a way of life. You have found a way, in the midst of struggle, to look for the good in life and to take moments and appreciate it. You once told me you had found support from people you didn't expect it from, and how much that encouraged you to keep moving forward. You took your pain and you turned it into positive energy. The goals you have set and continue to set are good ones. I know how excited you are about your goal of becoming a peer recovery specialist. We're equally excited. You benefited so much from your support system that you built, and now you're going to become a part of the support system that others are building. It wasn't an easy journey, but think of where you were and think of where you are. I know how proud everyone is of all the work you've done to become a responsible man, father, son, and a role model. Congratulations, Michael. Keep up the good work. You know what it took to get here. You know what it takes to protect what you've gotten. Good luck. Brian, you've been with us quite a while, but as I always remind you, every journey is unique, and as we saw, recovery's not a straight line. When you started, you truly didn't know what you wanted. You had no idea of who you were, and I'm pretty sure you didn't think it was necessary to find out either. You had your own set of rules, and as long as your rules lined up with our rules, everything was great. However, when our rules were different, it meant you had to figure out how to cope with that. And I know you agree with me that this was not easy for you. You had never really understood accountability. But in order to stay in this program, you had to figure that one out. Your charm goes only so far, and once you realized that it wouldn't cut it here, you had to decide how to find Plan B and maybe sometimes Plan C. You now know what accountability looks like to yourself and to others, and you practice it daily. It wasn't easy for you to handle the several plates that you had spinning all at once. Now you can do it. As the time went on, you learned to see just because something didn't go your way the first time, you shouldn't give up. You began to see it as a learning experience, as a challenge, and as a way to grow. You learned that your way wasn't the only way. You've gained something that you never understood before, empathy. Not only can you now see that sometimes there are numerous ways to address an issue, you can see that matter through the eyes of someone else. That has been a huge step in the progress that you've made along the way. Learning to communicate was also an important lesson. Your previous ways led you to dull any emotion through the use of a substance. Now, you're willing to feel the full range of emotions, even the ones that make you uncomfortable. Even though it took a while to learn, once you learned humility and gratitude, your whole world opened up and changed. You are now a proud father, husband, and son. You are working hard at creating a brand new life for yourself and your family. And I know no one is more proud and surprised at the person you are today than you. Last week you told me, for the first time in your memory, you were truly happy. Your hard work is paid off. So stay honest, watch your people, places, and things. Reach out for help when you need it, and just continue to grow. Please come back and see us. Congratulations. Jax, you joined the program in September of 2021. When you started, you also had a lot you were dealing with. You jumped into treatment services, but your people, places, and things were not something that you were willing to change. Your therapist really held you accountable, maybe for the first time in your life. You got a job and you settled into routine, but you admitted that some of what you had to do was difficult because you only knew one way to think about things, and you were being challenged to think in new ways, how to handle conflicts and solve problems. This was a struggle for you because you simply didn't trust us. And we understand. Your life experience led you to believe that you shouldn't be open to anyone because it would ultimately be used against you. Over time, however, that slowly began to change. Little by little, you showed that you were willing to listen to other people's advice. You got another job, but you still struggled with that basic responsibility and understanding. You might have understood why things were asked of you, but you didn't fully feel like making the changes to get there. You didn't see the connection. It did, however, eventually catch up to you, and at that point you had some decisions to make. It took a while for you to understand that this program is different than any other program. It holds you accountable, we give you the tools, but the future is yours to create. It's not right for every person. I don't know why the light bulb turned on for you, or who turned it on, but I don't care, because it got turned on. A quote attributable to no one that I could find is one that I think of when I look at your journey. And the quote is this: I think the most beautiful thing in the world is watching the light come on in someone's eyes when they've been lost in the darkness for so long. One of your early goals was to put off for so long was your GED. And I know we all remember how excited you were and the joy in your face when you accomplished that. Having been in the program for a while truly has been a blessing in disguise. It allowed you to make mistakes and to look at what real life consequences are, and then realize that you could problem solve without substance to escape. As time went on, we all saw how your mindset changed and how that made a difference when you encountered roadblocks. The impulsive, angry young man who started this program has grown into a responsible, thoughtful, helpful new dad. One of your passions that's been so healing for you is your love of gardening. You know more species and plants and flowers than I'd wager almost anyone in this room. You used to look at illegal substances to heal your wounds. Now you look at ancient medicinal remedies, and by golly, if you can find the seed to grow it, you're going to do it. Finding your voice, finding your people, your recovery community, everything the mayor talked about. Finding out who you want to be as a dad to your daughter, the new traditions you want to establish with her, that has made all the difference in your life. We know you have special goals. We know if you can come through this, you can come through anything. So protect your hard-fought life. Remember that without your recovery, nothing else will work. Please come and see us, and congratulations. Do any of the three of you want to say anything? Okay, come on up.
My name is Jax. I'd like to start off by saying thank you guys for helping me along the way. You know, it took a long time for me to get the thought process right and to do right. It took me 3 years to get to this point right here. You know, and I had to change everything. I had to change the people, places, and things that I hang out with. I had to change the thought process and how I looked at things, why they happened in my life. You know, and it made a world of a difference. I got my family back. You know, I had a daughter. Really want to cry. I'm really happy about this. You know, because at first I didn't have it in my head to do this the right way. And I thought I could scheme and get past things and do it in a certain way, but I couldn't. But once I surrendered to everything and I gave up my thought process on things and I started learning things, my whole life changed. I stopped using drugs. You know, I got my GED. Man, there's so many things I accomplished. You know, I study all the time. I got gardens. Really not prepared. It's kind of messed me up. Yeah, I know. But if you guys didn't believe in me when I didn't believe in myself, I don't think I'd be here right now. You know, I believe in myself today. At one point in time, I never thought my future would be good, but now I know I got a future that's going to be good. You know, I work on it every day, and just really appreciate you guys caring enough to help me through this. I appreciate it. That's all I got to say. And thank you everybody for coming.
Anybody else? Okay.
Oh boy. First off, I'm just glad that Michael started crying before I started crying. And then we all started crying, so that makes me feel a lot better, seriously. I had just a couple of things I wanted to say. And the biggest thing I want to say to not just us for graduating, it's the new people, for sure. In the program, sometimes there may be a negative consequence for telling the truth. However, there will be less severe if you just, if you don't lie and you don't, misrepresent the truth. Because that was my hardest thing in this program. That I never understood what being truthful and honest to yourself was. I really did. And the judge would look at me right in the eyes every week and I'd be like, yeah, I understand. I never did. I think there was something I was telling Lizzie and she had no idea. So when she graduated the program, I've done 3.5 years. So right when she got done, she spoke at a Doings House meeting. And this stuck with me until just last week. I thought the same thing. She said to me that, I go, how in the hell did you do it? Especially afterwards. How are you still doing good? She goes, I'm the only one that can keep myself in check. And when she said that, Like, I really didn't get it at first. I really didn't. And when I finally realized that, you know, my father held my hand for 10 years. And when I started having to do things myself and have an open mind, especially with Paula, you know, when they say all of our directions and journeys are different, they really mean that. They really do. Therapy worked for me. It did. Therapy worked for me. And I also thank you for you guys, and you guys do a lot. Jack said something that really hit hard, that you guys cared, and, you know, when we thought we were done. Like, I wanted to go to prison a couple times, but you guys changed my mind. And it was so weird because I had it stuck in my mind that I'm gonna skate by, get through this, use drugs again, was my goal. That was my goal. But now, my life, my kids, my family, it's so weird the paths we can take sometimes. It can be for the good, it could be for the bad, but ultimately, in this program, you put in 5% effort, tomorrow it'll be 7, and then 10, and then 15. It's crazy when you actually physically start trying what you can read. That's all I got.
I think one of the most powerful moments in graduations across the country is when arresting officers or someone from those departments comes up to the front to shake the hands of someone who they previously put in handcuffs. The officers appreciate the opportunity to see their efforts come full circle. And the graduates often tell them, "Thank you. I couldn't see it at the time, but you saved my life." Sergeant Hannon, would you come on down here and give these gentlemen a handshake?
My lawyer objected to Judge Rankin Mr. Williams as an educated man, a former military officer. He works and has a wife and kids, and he's learned it. And Judge Rankin said, that's the problem. He's too smart to let us down. I can't be involved in drug court because I could not stay sober. I got pulled over, Judge Road, 2008. Got a no paper citation to appear at Eastern River Court. And all I had to do was give them 3 clean years. Just 3. I could give them 2. Something called a payday would come up between the second and third test, and I was just incapable of not drinking or using that another body. I'll never forget it. We woke up early that morning from DC jail, and one thing I remember vividly is just the sound of chains, almost like being on a slave ship. And I realized, you know, I hadn't been a father in years, and I hadn't been a husband. That maybe this is an opportunity for you to live for the first time since you can remember. By being immersed in the drug court continuum care, being immersed in the AA 12 step program, having a wonderful network, my desire to stay sober got greater than my desire to use. In 2009 graduate of the DC Superior Court Drug Court Treatment Program, and my sobriety date is December 9th, 2008. And from that day to this day, I have found myself to drink for new substances. God put something on my spirit, kind of gave me a new philosophy that says that I dream with my eyes wide open. That I certainly have lived a nightmare with my eyes wide open. But the gift of sobriety facilitated through drug court. The nightmares that I had been living no more had permission to be my master, but now I had permission to be my teacher. Because I had learned the lessons, and I was able to apply the lessons learned from the nightmares. And when my life got better, I had the gift to be able to assist other individuals who were still suffering for their life to be better.
I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank the families and friends who are here tonight. You've done the hard work of sitting on the sidelines at times. You have had to learn and adapt, and you are the ones who've had to have the immense faith in the small miracles, hoping they were happening even if you couldn't see them. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your courage and for your trust in this program and in your loved ones. Thank you for not giving up on them and giving them another chance. To end the evening, I want to invite Pastor Tim Allemeyer, pastor of LaPorte Christian United Methodist Church, who's a great friend and supporter of this program, to come and share a song with us. The words speak to the journey of hope and recovery. Vince Dixon wrote this song, and it is called Don't Ever Stop the Climb.
On behalf of the people of faith in our area, thank you all. Thank you. Michael, Ryan, Jax, well done. Well done, guys. Vince Dixon, Decline. Standing high on this mountaintop, looking back and wondering how you made it up and you smile. It's been a crazy ride. Sometimes you walked, sometimes you ran, sometimes you needed a helping hand, but you learned all the things in good times. You get one life to get around. There ain't no joy in falling down, but hey, we all have those days. So put your face against the wind, embrace this world you're living in. You never know what at each new peak you'll find. Don't ever stop the climb. You've been around, try to hide the scars, but in the end they're part of who you are, and you know we're all the same. It's never just how high you climb, but who's there walking by your side, and you know there's no reason to make this trip alone. You get one life to get around. There ain't no joy in falling down, but hey, we all have those days. So put your face against the wind, embrace this world you're living in. You never know what at each new peak you'll find. But hey, don't ever stop the climb. Every smile and every tear, every hope and every fear are the footprints left, the path you're moving on. You get one life to get around. There ain't no joy in falling down, but hey, we all have those days. But don't ever stop the climb. this.
Thank you, Pastor. He did not know that song, and I asked him a couple weeks ago, would you learn it? He said, absolutely. You did a fine job. All right, we have cake. And if the alumni could stay for just a second. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.